I know it's late. I've been meaning to come on for 2 hours now. I am just going to share this into my group real quick, so just stick with me here, or to my page. If you're not on my page, I have a page that is named exactly this, True Crime Spotlight on Facebook. I do all my lives from YouTube, so if anybody's on the page, you're going to want to subscribe, because this is just where I do all my videos from anyways. That way you guys can set reminders and updates and all that good stuff. I want to hop on here real quick. I can't talk and share at the same time, so it takes me forever. I want to hop on real quick. I can't. And talk about what I will be referring to now as the Gainesborough Four. I think that is a very suitable name. It is a very united name, which is very important. I'm just trying to share this if anybody's hopped on yet. But I know most of you are on my page. Hit the subscribe button. I want to get the channel out there, because that's where we will be doing all of our lives from, and I appreciate everybody following the page, so I want to get all of that same support on the YouTube channel. So I've been trying to come on for 2 hours, and everybody knows that my kids have been sick for days. I think I got a bout of it. My husband got a bout of it. And I thought my youngest was through the woods, and I was on chatting with some people on Facebook Messenger earlier, and I was going to hop off and come on live real fast. And my son decided there we go. Okay, I'm done. I promise. My son decided to, we put him to bed, and we thought he was good. He started crying. I went upstairs and I got him up, and I could tell he was going to throw up, and he ended up throwing up all over me, so I had to get a shower and all that good stuff. So it doesn't look like he's that far out of the woods yet, but as of right now, he is down. So I decided to take the time to come on and talk. So I have been, as anybody on the page knows, I've been starting to ask and post about what I will be referring to now as the Gainesborough Four. I think it's very fitting, like I was saying. Very, very, very tragic and horrific thing in such a small town. So I kind of want to come on and talk about that and give a little layout of what we know so far and what's to come. I also want to let everybody know that Monday night, Cheryl Jones will be on to talk about Joshua Bohannon from the 13th District, Tennessee, about her missing nephew. So I've been posting on the page, and, I just want to make everybody aware. I have reached out to the parents, and a few of them have reached back. In fact, 3 of them have, and they have decided to talk, and I've been thinking about how I could go about this. If you guys have been following along, some of the cases are a little bit different. This is a case with 4 victims, and 4 different families, and 4 different sets of people who cared about them And as I just talk and I learn, it's just heartbreaking and disgusting as far as the investigation went. And it just breaks my heart. So I reached out, and when I started learning about them, I thought it was only one victim. I thought it was just Joseph. And it's not because of the whole billboard situation, which I want to talk about that too. It's just, I never heard of the other three. There's four victims, and that's understandable, but it's time to make it very known that there were four lives that day. So I'm trying to find ways to show just not only that, the importance of that, but just the severity of the situation in whole. This took place in the 15th District of Tennessee, back in February 9th, 2002. You guys, this is 2 decades old. There were 5 hanging out in a trailer. And by the end of the night, the trailer was engulfed in flames. And for whatever reason, there was a survivor out, that 5th survivor outside of the trailer when all this went down. And really, since then, it's shocking to know that a lot of people didn't even know there was a survivor. It's a small town, and such a horrifying thing happened. And people not know that there was a survivor amongst them, for one, is just crazy. So yes, there was a survivor. I have invited all of the parents now. I have not been able to get a hold of the parents of Elizabeth Maddox. If anybody watching or watches this knows, please reach out to them and let them know what I'm trying to do. I've talked to the parents of Joseph. I am in the process of talking to the parents of TJ and Lacey. And what I want to do to just push that unity is to invite them all on to come speak together. This happened to their babies, and not only was it nothing done and it was pushed down, it kind of got separated to make it not seem like it was that big of a deal, which would have been a big deal individually. But there were 4, and I really, that's what I want to do. So I have been in contact with 3 of them, and I would just like anybody that knows the parents of Elizabeth to reach out, or have somebody contact me, because I would love for them to be a part of that. I want to set a date for all of them to just come and speak on anything they feel comfortable with speaking on. So, yes, I invite them. Also, Elizabeth's family. I just don't know how to reach out to them. I have not found a way yet. So if anybody can point me in that direction, I would love that. I'm inviting them, and hopefully we can set that up. So from what I've gathered is on February 9th, 2002, Joseph, Lacey, Elizabeth, TJ, and Derek all went to the trailer was vacant at the time. It was owned by what is believed to be TJ's grandparents. And, they just went there. The word is they were just, being normal teenagers. They were between 16 and 18 years old. And I know what I was doing at that age. And I can tell you what, my parents don't know half of it. So that's another point I want to bring up. Um, let's just remember that if the parents do decide to come and talk, let's just remember, that these were teenagers. They were living in the midst of their high school days, and we were all there. So, there's answers that they would like too. So they were all partying in this trailer, and just hanging out. And from what I've gathered, and that's another thing, we just don't know the times, and that's what I would really like to figure out. They were all partying, and at some time during the night, word it was that they were drunk and they all passed out, and one thing led to another. Derek went outside to sleep in his car, or he was outside for whatever reason. And next thing anybody knows, the whole trailer is just engulfed in flames. From my understanding, Derek was in the car located on the property, where his dad's house was visible. He could see the trailer. You could see the trailer. He seen the flames, and he goes over and he pulls his son out of a burning vehicle, that the car he was asleep in, drags him out. And by that account, what is said, by that time the whole trailer was just engulfed in flames, and there was just nothing that anybody could do for anybody that was inside. And sadly, inside were Joseph, Lacey, Elizabeth, and TJ. And and that's kind of where it was. Derek got pulled out. His They called 911. They got the flames out. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on that right now, but from what I've heard, and I've seen, they were just unrecognizable, and it took a lot, dental records and all to identify them. From what I'm gathering, and I would really like to narrow it down this time, this was about 3 a.m. when this happened on Saturday, early Saturday morning, on February 9th, 2002. From there, just asking around, it's just not very clear at all. There was just not a lot of coverage on it. There was no updates. There was nothing. And like I said, the very people that made this memorial had no idea that there was even a survivor. And it just makes you wonder, how does something like that have nothing and nobody know? So, this was 2 decades ago. And, that time, a lot of things come out on the streets, a lot of whispers, a lot of talk, a lot of things. And from my understanding, there were a few people that as far went and actually talked to TBI and talked to the officials, and nobody knows anything that's been done. I mean, you look at on the outside view, nothing has been done. Everything's been very tight-lipped as far as that goes, and many agencies have crisscrossed and handed it over. And between the 2 to 4 of them, I think, evidence was lost. Evidence, they don't know where it is. It was handed to this person and not me. I never got it. They won't hand it over. And it's just kind of went cold. And I kind of get the feeling that the investigation just hoped everybody would just think that it was just this horrible accident and, rest in peace. Well, if that was the case, then 20, decades later, years later, this long later, why is it considered an open cold case? Because it wasn't an accident. The families haven't seen anything from what I know. They are so on the outside of this because it's an open investigation. It's been 2 decades and so much has been said. So, some of the things that have come out were, you have these 5 victims. You have 4 teenagers who perished in the fire, and you have a survivor that was on the outside. And then you start to hear people talk. There's talk of a possible love triangle that was happening at the time. Was there, amongst the people, there's talk of somebody liking somebody's ex, and these were teenagers, and this may seem like such, petty motive, but you have to think about when we were teenagers, how big that stuff was. There's talk of one individual at the top of it all. And then it trickles down to another person who was said to be involved. And then it trickles down to, well, there's a survivor outside. What does he know? From half of the talk, he doesn't remember a thing. He went outside the house. He was knocked out, and the next thing he knew, he was being awoken up to the house in flames. Many believe that he knows a little bit more than what he's saying. And many believe that he is just that, a victim, and doesn't remember a thing. So we have this very well-known person we were going to call him the ringleader. And for whatever reason, he sets a person that is no longer with us. He is said to have committed suicide and wrote a letter naming everybody who was involved. This letter was said to have been handed over to law enforcement, TBI, the officials, the people that it should have gone to. But really nobody, even the families are kind of confused on that. Is it real? Is it a myth? Did it happen? Many believe that this person was involved, that he had guilt, or for whatever reason, half the people say he had major guilt and he killed himself over it. The other half say that it wasn't him killing himself. He was getting ready to speak and somebody shut him up. There are people out there that they've said that they have went to the TBI, the FBI, everybody, and told them everything that they knew. Every single thing that was whispering around school, around the neighborhood, things that they heard from this ringleader himself. And many really wonder if that was true or if TBI they just simply did nothing. Many say that there was a target. One of the victims was a target, and the other three were just simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. But my thing is, it's been 2 decades. The people in the streets know this. I am 100% that the investigators know this. My question is, why after all this time you have people saying these things and nothing gets done? Something this big, something this brutal, something this tragic. Nothing gets done. So, ringleader's dad was said to have been an official in that town. It is said that the person that killed himself that was involved relayed this information to his dad. So it was out there. All of this was out there. Some version of the truth is in all of that, but it was out there. And many wonder, is it because of who the ringleader's dad was and the connections? We know those connections can run deep and things can get buried. They want to say that there's just not enough evidence. There's just not enough. So it's been, with this one, we are going about it just a little differently. I understand that there is plenty of things that need to be withheld in an investigation. I understand that. I'm not naive, and I don't want people to think that I am naive. But it's been 2 decades, and it's been so long. And, people are quite pissed that all this information was going around and nothing is done. They're asking, did you speak? If you did, then why didn't they do anything? And I'm asking, and my personal, this is me. It's been 2 decades, and this is no disrespect, I promise, but it has been 2 decades. If everybody went to the officials, if you guys all went to the investigators and you told them everything, then I guess my question is, well, then why not come tell everything? Why not come make a statement then? It's obvious they're not doing anything. I don't want to come across any type of way, but just from everything that I'm seeing and hearing and talking and speaking, you have all this information that was given, and they have it, and they did nothing. So my question is, let's try a different route. Let's try to press some buttons. Because I think the family 20 years later deserve to know what you know. And that's me speaking personally and just freely. You don't have to say names. Nobody has to say names. I never asked for a name. I won't say names, just out of respect. But it's been 2 decades. I think everybody would really like to know what you know. And we can do that in a way, however you feel comfortable. I believe there are people out there that are holding on to decades worth of secret that want regardless of you said it then and you weren't heard. Well, we want you to say it now because you will be heard. You will be. We don't see any reason to hold on to those secrets anymore. Because just for me digging in, I want to start by something that I've learned and I'm digging into is that the person, the medical examiner, the autopsy that did the autopsy on all four of these people, I heard was allegedly fired for performing autopsies or something to that nature in a basement warehouse. And I will be looking into that because I definitely want to know more details, because if I want to know what those details are, because if that's the case, that'd be a good start. So I am getting information on that. I'm confirming that. And I will start there. And, there's already things that are out there that I know that could be out there. And I said could blow this whole thing wide open. But, we'll get to that if we need to. Because at this point, it's all gloves off. It's been 2 decades. And the people that have all that information, then come share it then. Because the parents that see that and they don't, you're not sharing that, that's just giving them hope that they don't need to see, I guess. So, and that's how I feel about it. I appreciate that you gave that to the right people that you thought was the right people, but it's been 2 decades. I think it's time to give it to some other people. And the people that know directly that information, you would be so brave. You would be incredibly brave. Because I get that too. For my own reasons, I get why you would want to stay quiet. And I get in a situation like this why you would want to stay quiet. So what I want to know is what time a 911 call came in. What I want to know is reports of that night. From what I'm gathering, there's just nothing. Everything's lost. Everything's gone. I want to know all of those things. I want a time frame. I want a timeline of all of these people involved. If anything, just that day. I'm hearing that the ringleader had an alibi by a girlfriend who lied. So I would really like to know that. From what I hear, they were really close. She is somebody that he would have definitely told and blabbed to, and let alone give an alibi to. So I would like to know. Yeah. There's plenty of questions that I want to know, but before we get into all that, I want to give I feel like the families, the parents have been left in the dark so much that they needed a chance to see what was out there. And I appreciate everybody that supported that post, everybody that helped me fix the district I got wrong. It's this billboard. that where Gainesborough is located, it's like really kissing. The people explain it to me as like you could literally throw a rock from the 13th district and hit the spot where the trailer was. It's that close. So Joseph's family found this group. She got invited into this group and she contributed. That billboard is family paid for. They have a GoFundMe. I will gladly, any family, it's not limited to the 13th. It just so happened to be there was a lot of families from the 13th. The 13th is really wilding out, you guys. So, she's seen it and said, hey, can I contribute my son? It's from the 15th. This has happened. Can I contribute my son on? And I'm glad because now look at this. I'd have never known. It got shoved so far down, I would have never found it. But I did. And, anybody who wants to be on a billboard, they are doing individual billboards. There is a GoFundMe. I can point you in that direction. But I'm thankful for the people who helped me fix that detail because I just assumed it was the 13th. And I appreciate the people that took the time to correct that. That's the big thing I'm been about. If you go to my past videos, I'm human. I may make a mistake, but I'll do just as hard fixing that mistake because that is just as important. So I appreciate the people that helped. To the people that are for the families, and if you're on my page or on my post, and if you're not contributing to helping, there's just no need to be up and down the post, especially if you're for the families. If you help or don't, but it's just not needed or appreciated. So for the people that did help me correct it, I very much appreciate it. That's what we're here for. But yes, I have invited all the families. Please, if anybody knows the family of Elizabeth Maddox, please reach out to them and let them know what I'm trying to do and have them reach out to me. I just haven't found a way to be able to get a hold of them. I want to invite all of the parents on at the same time to speak about their babies and what happened that day in the investigation. So please subscribe, however that goes, because it is in the process, and I very much look forward to that. There's just so much here, and I promise we will break it down until something happens. It is very sad, and I have spoken to Joseph's parents, and they just seem like such sweet people. And you could tell the pain. And, the thing that they want the most after so long is they just want answers. Whatever happened has happened. They just want answers. They don't know. None of these parents know for sure, and that needs to change. It's been too long. For any case that has been going on this long, it's been too long. So, I told them I'm going to stir some shit up until something happens. And I'm going to start by letting everybody hear them first. So I hope you guys stick around for that. It should be very, very, very opening. I just ask that you come and you be respectful. So yeah, major rumors, a lot of things that could have been. And I really hope that through this, we can bring the people forward that can help close this cold case. Let's light it up, heat it up, open it. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's so cold that we need those people to come to warm it up. So if you're out there and you have that information, it's time. It is very much time. I believe that most of your kids now would be their age, if I'm correct. I know I was in the 7th grade. 7th grade around that time. And I'm 32 now. How old are all of you that knew Joseph, Lacey, TJ, and Elizabeth? And how old are all of your kids? And I think I want to leave you with that before I cry. This is Ash with TC Spotlight. Until next time, you guys stay safe and really think about it. Think about it. Think about coming and talking. You guys have a good night.